Hey son, I'm going to read you a few poems from this book that I read when I was a kid. It was some of my favorite poems. It's called Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. And your mom gave it to me for my birthday, and one day it's going to be yours when you can read it. But I'm going to read you some poems, and your mom will be able to show you the pictures, okay? This first one's called Ickle Me, Pickle Me, Tickle Me Too. Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too. Went for a ride in a flying shoe. Hooray, what fun, it's time we flew. Said Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too. Ickle was captain and Pickle was crew, and Tickle served coffee and mulligan stew. As higher and higher and higher they flew, Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too. Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too, over the sun beyond the blue. Hold on, stay in, I hope we do, cried Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too. Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too, never returned to the world they knew. And nobody knows what's happened to dear Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too. Sometimes they went flying where nobody else had flown before, in a flying shoe, and sometimes that's the risk as well as a reward of doing something that nobody else has ever done. But we don't not do something because there's a risk to it. This one's called Jimmy Jet and his TV set. I'll tell you the story of Jimmy Jet, and you know what I tell you is true. He loved to watch his TV set almost as much as you. He watched all day, he watched all night, till he grew pale and lean, from the early show to the late, late show and all the shows in between. He watched till his eyes were frozen wide, and his bottom grew into his chair, and his chin turned to a tuning dial, and antenna grew out of his hair. And his brain turned into TV tubes, and his face to a TV screen. And two knobs saying Vert and Horitz grew where his ears had been. And he grew a plug that looked like a tail, so we plugged in little Jim, and now instead of him watching TV, we all sit around and watch Jim. Don't ever find yourself just watching life pass by. Always be involved and take an active role. This next one's called The Farmer and the Queen. She's coming, the farmer said to the owl. Oh, what shall I do? What shall I do? Shall I bow when she comes? Shall I twiddle my thumbs? The owl asked, who? The queen, the royal queen. She'll pass the farm today. Shall I salute? He asked the horse, and the horse said, nay. Shall I give her a gift? He asked the wren. A lovely memento for her to keep? An egg or a peach or an ear of corn? The wren said, cheap. But should I curtsy or should I cheer? Or, oh, here's her carriage now. What should I do? He asked the dog. The dog said, bow. And so he did, and so she passed. Oh, tra-la-la-la-la. She smiled, she did. He told the sheep, and the sheep said, bah. Sometimes the simplest solution is the best. And try to overcomplicate things, like I've tried to do sometimes. This next one's called Smart, and you're incredibly smart. And this is how smart I'm sure you're going to be. You can outsmart yourself sometimes. My dad gave me $1 bill because I'm his smartest son, and I swapped it for 2 shiny quarters because 2 is more than 1. And then I took the quarters and traded them to Lou for 3 dimes. I guess you don't know that 3 is more than 2. Just then, along came old blind Bates, and just 'cause he can't see, he gave me 4 nickels for my 3 dimes, and 4 is more than 3. And I took the nickels to Hiram Combs down at the seed feed store, and the fool gave me 5 pennies for them, and 5 is more than 4. And then I went and showed my dad, And he got red in his cheeks and closed his eyes and shook his head, too proud of me to speak. I'm sure something like that will happen at some point. It's happened to me. So this next one's Hector the Collector. Hector the Collector collected bits of string, collected dolls with broken heads and rusty bells that would not ring. Pieces out of picture puzzles, bent-up nails and ice cream sticks, twists of wires, worn-out tires, paper bags, and broken bricks. Old chip vases, half shoelaces, Gatling guns that wouldn't shoot, leaky boats that wouldn't float, and stopped-up horns that wouldn't toot. Butter knives that had no handles, copper keys that fit no locks, rings that were too small for fingers, dried-up leaves and patched-up socks. Worn-out belts that had no buckles, electric trains that had no tracks, airplane models, broken bottles, three-legged chairs, and cups with cracks. Hector the Collector loved these things with all his soul, loved them more than shining diamonds, loved them more than glistening gold. Hector called to all the people, "Come and share my treasure trunk." And all the silly, sightless people came and looked and called it junk. Don't ever let anybody tell you that something you're passionate about is junk, and there's no value in it. This next one's called Lester. Lester was given a magic wish by the goblin who lives in the banyan tree, and with his wish he wished for 2 more wishes. So now, instead of just 1 wish, he cleverly had 3. And with each one of these, he simply wished for 3 more wishes, which gave him 3 old wishes plus 9 new. And with each of these, 12. He slyly wished for 3 more wishes, which added up to 46, or is it 52? Well, anyways, he used each wish to wish for wishes till he had 5,007,018,034, and then he spread them on the ground and clapped his hands and danced around and skipped and sang and then sat down and wished for more. And more they multiplied while other people smiled and cried and loved and reached and touched and felt. Lester sat amid his wealth, stacked mountain high like stacks of gold, sat and counted and grew old. And then one Thursday night they found him dead, with his wishes piled around him. And they counted the lot and found that not a single one was missing. All shiny and new. Here, take a few, and think of Lester as you do. In a world of apples and kisses and shoes, he wasted his wishes on wishing. More and more is never going to make you happy. Be content with what you have and live your life. Enjoy your family. Enjoy the people who love you. Because that's what's truly precious in life. And that's wealth. All right, son. Good night. I love you.